Beautiful day. I'm going to do some editing. What's going on with my Lightroom? What's that noise? What? Maybe if I shut everything down. Let me check my drives. Where's my drive? Oh no. It's dead. No. Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Allie. And this week, I'm going to be bringing you some of my words of wisdom in regards to backing up your hard drive and not losing your files, because as a photographer, we tend to have a lot of files. So as you saw by my dramatic reenactment this week, I lost a hard drive. It's not my first time I've had to restore, so I want to talk about it because I want to give you some ideas of how I restore and what I'm going to do in the future to make this less painful, because it's not fun. So first of all, I use Backblaze as an off-site cloud backup, and I've used Backblaze probably since like almost 10 years. And the first time I had to restore from it, it was painful. As you know, you build restores, manual downloads. I lost a hard drive around 2013, 2014. But I was able to recover everything, except I got a little confused, and I know I lost a couple of shoots. And, you know, I learned from that. So then in 2017, I had a 21-inch iMac, and I took it to the Apple Genius Bar because it was having some issues, and they fixed it, and they told me to come get it, and they started it up, and I got a red apple. And the guy looked at me and he said, "Do you have a backup?" And I was like, "Well, I've got Time Machine and I've got Backblaze." And he's like, "Well, Time Machine's not going to do you any good because everything's corrupt, and so if you restore from Time Machine, you actually will just get your corruption back. But," he said, "you've got Backblaze, so you're going to be able to restore everything." And then he stopped talking to me, turned around and yelled into the store, "Hey everybody, this lady has a backup." So I guess it's not common. And I was able to restore. They replaced the entire motherboard, hard drive, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a hardware person, I'm a photographer person. And they replaced all that, and I got the machine back, and I restored from Backblaze. That was 2017. So here we are in 2020. Now when that happened, I bought a 4 terabyte hard drive, and that's the one that just died. A little annoyed. I mean, it's only like less than a year out of warranty. It's not that old, and it made a racket, and it was gone, dead, nothing. And it not only died, but it was my current hard drive, meaning it had all my most recent shoots, it had all my stock images, it had everything that I'm working on now. And that's when I jumped online to my Patreon site with Frank Dorhoff, and I was like, "Frank, what do I get? Because do I just go buy another hard drive and just put everything on there?" And Frank said, "No, you need a DAS, direct access storage." And I was like, I don't know what that is. But then Robert, my friend, jumped in, and he's like, "Allie, I'll help you." Robert's local, Frank's in Holland. And I ordered two 6 terabyte hard drives and this case. So they both go in there together as happy little friends, and they basically replicate each other. So Backblaze will still back them up, so I'll still have my cloud backup. But also, if this happens again, my most important stuff is on this, and this way I can immediately restore by it'll just switch me over to the other hard drive, and I just replace the hard drive that broke, which I think is wonderful. So something I did learn, and I want to share that with you because this tip saved me this time, was when I had the issue last time with the I don't remember which one. I think it might have been the first time. Anyway, I learned don't let all your hard drives fill up to the max, because if somebody crashes, you've got nowhere to restore to until you get your new stuff. And with our lovely coronavirus delaying shipments, I should have the hard drives today, but I'm not going to have the case till Wednesday. Thankfully, I have an 8 terabyte and I have a 6 terabyte, and the 8 terabyte has like 6 terabytes free on it. It says I don't fill my drives up anymore. And I lost about 3 terabytes because that's about how full the 4 terabyte drive was. So I am able to restore now to the big drive. And then when I get my new setup, I'll just move everything over. So that's what I wanted to share. But I also want to share a few tips with you. I want to show you a little bit about how to restore in Backblaze. Because if you don't have Backblaze, the personal account is very reasonably priced. It's unlimited storage. You pay by computer, not by hard drive. So I have 4 external hard drives on my computer. Now this iMac, this 27-inch iMac, only has a 256 gig internal SSD hard drive. And I insisted on the SSD hard drive, but they're expensive, so I got a small one. So everything but applications is on an external drive for my setup. Backblaze will not restore applications, it's only for files. So here's a little video with my hints on some things I've learned about how to restore on Backblaze. This is Backblaze, and here's all my restores, and here's something I learned the hard way. First of all, if you are going to use Backblaze, keep your restores under 200 gigs. The second thing I learned is rename your restores to something that makes sense, because if things fail or whatever, you have no idea what you've got in these restores if you leave them at their regular names. You could see I've renamed them. Here's something I learned. So if you go to View Restore Files, and this is how I would create a restore package, and I hit download, and now I want to show you guys something that I've learned over the years. This is the drive that failed. Now, if you go to 2020, I can tell what every one of these shoots are because of my naming convention. Let's go back to 2014 when Allie wasn't so organized. And I did crap like this. I have no idea what's in here. I don't know if I want these. I don't know what 303 means. Okay, so I know what these are because I wrote names, and then I've got all these randos that are based off of the date. Do not do this because it doesn't make any sense. So that's all I'm saying about that. And so I'll just build a make-believe restore. Let's say I want to take this 3-03 and I'm going to say continue with the restore. What I wanted to show you was that when you build the restore, you see here, it comes in with your machine's name and some random numbers. Later, you have no idea what that is. So you hit the rename and say 2014 March, and now I know what that file is. So if things get confusing, then the download and the restore goes a lot easier. The other thing I'm doing is I restore into a restoring directory, and then after everything is restored, and like you can see here, I have an archive that's unloading here. Then I come over into this folder, it has Howie Current images. Howie Current was the last drive, and I move them over. And then the last thing I do is I will delete the old zip files because they're massive, and then I empty my trash. So this is a constant battle of keeping your space clean, keeping yourself organized, keeping things named in a way so you know what you're doing, because 3 terabytes of data is kind of a pain in the butt to download like this. So those are my tips. Okay, so now once you get everything restored from Backblaze, you've got to restore Lightroom. And yeah, I lost my main Lightroom catalog, but I backed it up and I've restored it. And so here's a quick little video on how to get everything back into Lightroom. And one thing I want to talk to you about also is when you do your backups on Lightroom, like I only lost 2 weeks of configurations in Lightroom. I didn't lose the files, but I did lose a few shoots, and luckily we're not shooting now, so there were some still lifes where I lost my Lightroom edits because Lightroom doesn't know about them because I hadn't backed up and they were after the backup. But I only lost about 2 weeks. So back up your Lightroom catalog because it's a real pain in the butt when you get your images back and you discover you haven't backed up your catalog for 3 months. And now you've lost your pics, your ratings, your edits. You don't lose your Photoshop edits, but you lose your Lightroom edits. So you don't want that. So back up your Lightroom catalog on a regular basis. Okay, so I'm going to restore my Lightroom catalog. I'm going to start restoring it. So Howie Current is the drive that died. I name all my drives Howie, don't ask. Howie Ocho is where I'm restoring to, and I've already restored my textures and backgrounds. And as you can see, I currently have lost the mappings for this 2020 drive, which is all my work from the year that I've done so far this year. So what I've done is, here's my backup that I've brought down from Backblaze. And I've copied all the 2020 images, so I wait until I've got the entire year. This took me 2 downloads and it took me all day to do. But I've got all the images here in this new drive on Howie Ocho, which is my 8 terabyte hard drive. So now I'm going to come over here to Howie Grande, because you don't want to kill this yet. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to say find missing folder. And textures and backgrounds is where I was, so I'm just going to go up to Howie Current Images. 2020. There's all my folders. I'm going to say choose that. It's going to remap everything. It's going to move it out of Howie Current. It's going to move it into Howie Ocho under the 2020. And the year 2020 is now restored. So those are my tips for this week. Have a way to back up. I like Backblaze because it's reasonable, it's unlimited storage, it backs up my RAW files. I back up my cell phone to the Amazon Prime Photos, but it doesn't do RAW files. It's not going to save you in something like this. It also backs up all my stuff. So I've got my Word documents, I've got my everything. Everything's up there on Backblaze. And I've even been able to remote restore from it. Like with my laptop, I go on vacation and I'm like, I feel like editing this image. I could just go get it down from Backblaze and boom, I got it from wherever I am. I've even restored down to a tablet and I think my cell phone when I wanted something that I knew was on my home hard drive. It just backs up continuously. It's great. Don't have massive external hard drives because they take forever to restore from. And I think this new setup that I'm going to have is really nice where, your most important stuff is on a redundant local backup. You don't have to worry about waiting hours or actually days for your stuff to restore and come back to you. So I wish you happy days. I hope I save you from the experience that I've had. And I will see you again in 2 weeks with something new, but I don't know what. So I'm looking for suggestions. If you've got one, put it down in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe and you'll see more videos, and hit the bell for notifications. Have a great day and bye-bye.